Alright, I just want to make a quick video for anybody who may be having feeding issues with their Desert Eagle. I have 3 different examples here. This one was produced probably around 2020 or 2019. This one probably produced around 2012 or 13. And this one I believe around 2014 or 15. But I want to point out a difference that is in the newer production barrels that may be giving people issues. It could also be a problem with the older models, but the issue is with this newer one, and I want to point that out to you. So let me get a close-up of it, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so I've always been a huge fan of Desert Eagles. It's my favorite design, obviously not for practical purposes, but I've been following them for a while, following Magnum Research and how their production is going. And one thing I just noticed recently on the newer barrels, this one here is an older one. You see that screw on the bottom? It's a flathead, tiny screw down there, right there in the bottom. That is actually part of your gas system. These operate very similar to ARs. That hole goes to a longer channel that is underneath the bore, and that's where your gases go in and come down and come out the opening right here, where your piston would be. You can see the hole in there. So the way they manufacture it is to drill that hole from there, and then you can see another hole, if I can get it lined up. There's another hole in the chamber. You can see right at the end of the chamber there's a hole. That's where your gases go down into the tube. But it doesn't need to come back, so what they do is they plug it up with a screw. And with the older ones, they used a flathead. I'm not saying that a flathead is better or worse than a different kind of screw. I'm just saying that there is a difference. I'm pointing out that there is a difference between the manufacturing process. So this is another one of the older ones. It's a little cruddy right now, but that is also a flathead screw down there in the bottom. And you can see there at the end of the chamber, the hole where the gases go into the tube and work your action. And now on the newer model, you can see they went to an Allen head screw. This one's a little more shiny, it's all gold. But you can see they went to an Allen head screw. And if you look closely, you can see that that screw has some wear on it from the bolt rotating over the screw. That screw shouldn't be backed out enough for that to happen. So what's happening is when your bolt is trying to rotate, at least with this one, what it did was it was scraping that screw, and it eventually wore it down to where you can see it's shiny. You can see it's shiny on top, and that should not have been making contact with the screw. So what I'm going to do is just tighten that screw down, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second here. Alright, so I took a 1/8 inch Allen head screw, or an Allen head wrench, and I tightened that screw down all the way till it wouldn't tighten anymore. You don't want to strip that screw out. But you can see that the shiny spot on the screw is no longer on top, and you can see that it's set in there a lot further now. So when the bolt rotates in the chamber, it's not going to make contact with that screw anymore. And that could be a huge issue for some people, and a very small issue that you may not catch, and a lot of people wouldn't know to look for that. So if you're having feeding issues to where your bolt isn't fully rotating into the chamber, or you're not getting your rounds fully seated into the chamber, and you may have to smack the back of the slide to get it to go in, that may be the issue there. Your screw may be sticking out too much on these newer models. I haven't had the issue with the older models. I've owned 2 different 50AE barrels. This one is a 357 Magnum barrel. I have another 357 Magnum barrel. None of them had the issue, and they all had the flat screw. Something is very different about the newer manufacturing, and they may have quality assurance issues. But yeah, that's just one thing that's different about this one. It could also be the process of titanium nitriding this barrel. Maybe I'm not sure what the process is exactly, but maybe that caused that screw to come loose. Maybe heat caused it to come loose and then back out under recoil. But it hasn't happened with the older ones. So if you have problems, look for that screw. Maybe it's sticking out too much, and just take a 1/8 inch Allen wrench and tighten it down. So I'll see y'all in the next video.